Hello, grade 8 learner! Welcome again to another mathematics lesson based on the K-12 curriculum learning competency. The learner proves statements on triangle congruence. In this lesson, we will be learning how to prove the congruence of two triangles. It's another great day to learn, so grab your pen, paper, and module as you watch and learn from this video lesson. Refer to your Quarter 3 module entitled Proving Statements on Triangle Congruence for this example. Let us complete the two-column proof for the congruence of the following triangles given the following information. We begin by observing and studying the figure and the table. Here, we are given two triangles to be proven congruent, triangle SLE and triangle CLI. On the table, we note two statements and two reasons to be filled in. Let us process what we know. Recall that the two-column proof is a table containing the statements and reasons to prove the congruence of the given triangles. Under the statement column, we write given statements, observations from the figure, or implications or suggestions that we can deduce from previous statements. Under the reason column, we write reasons to support our statements, namely that they are given, they follow properties of equality or congruence, they exemplify the definitions of geometric figures, or they satisfy postulates or theorems. To complete the proof, we need to study the implications of the given. What does it mean if L is the midpoint of SC and EI? We take a look at what the midpoint is. A midpoint divides a line segment into two equal parts. Thus, if we say L is the midpoint of segment SC, it divides SC into two equal parts, which will have the same measurement. Take note of this idea as we proceed to our solution. Let us solve. We begin with the first missing statement. The reason stated is that it is given. So this means the statement should be what is given in the problem. Thus, we have the statement L is the midpoint of segments SC and EI. Let us mark on the figure the midpoint L. From that statement follows the statements side SL is congruent to side LC and side EL is congruent to side LI. This statement is based on the idea that the segments mentioned in the statement are the congruent segments created by the midpoint L. Thus, our reason for the second statement is that it follows the definition of midpoint. Next, we need to provide the statement which is supported by the theorem that vertical angles are congruent. To identify which angles are said to be vertical, we observe the figure. Recall that intersecting lines create vertical angles. Thus, the angles created by the intersecting lines SC and EI are the angles SLE and CLI. And because vertical angles are congruent, the statement we are looking for is angle SLE is congruent to angle CLI. Looking at our statements, we have proven a pair of sides, a pair of included angles, and another pair of sides that are congruent to each other. This means that to justify our statement, triangle SLE is congruent to triangle CLI, we write as our reason the SAS congruence postulate. Let us state our conclusions. To complete the proof for the congruence of triangles SLE and CLI, we created statements based on the definitions of midpoint and vertical angles. We also proved that two pairs of sides and a pair of included angles are congruent to each other, so that we use the SAS congruence postulate to prove the congruence of the two triangles. Congratulations for finishing this video lesson. Now apply what you've learned by answering the activities in the activity sheet. Happy learning! We'll see you again in our next video lesson.